Here we go. I'll forget.
Lay down, Hurt.
I turn the light on, it's not gonna make a difference.
It does. Oh shit. Shay, we already got our first touchdown against the Raiders. Sorry, the Chiefs game's on. I live in Kansas City. It's a big thing. It's Raiders week.
No, you're fine. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm seeing here because it's like very choppy.
Choppy.
It's the only way I can explain that.
Yeah.
So when I do these, what I do is I start drawing. I draw cards to kind of pull the energy, anchor in, etc. Just because I've just learned that being super connected to my cards, it's easier. It's like a cheat, a backdoor in. So the guy that's popping in is like this. Here's why I say choppy, because usually it's very even with like the way things fall and so on. But with him, it's very light on this side, which is on my side, it's the spiritual, the left side, but very overwhelming on the physical side. There's also the ancestor card over here and all this other stuff. But there's also a lot of stuff about not paying attention to health issues or their gifts at all. So that's what I'm kind of trying to get a little bit more information on, because it's like, it's overwhelmingly over here. And whenever I try to poke a little bit for a little more information, it's almost, it's almost like severe ADHD in a way. It's like when I try to poke and get get anything more than what this pile is that's stacking up over here, it's like, okay, this, but also all this, and then but also this. I mean, it's just very like it not secretive, but shifting what I'm trying to find out.
I have severe ADHD, so
Well, that's the only way I can describe it. But then, okay. It's like in life, they had a lot of gifts that they absolutely ignored, closed the door on, put in the back room of the back of everything. Like they just ignored it. And then once they passed away,
I had a grandpa who was really high in the church and never really believed in any of this stuff in general.
Does he visit you a lot?
No, not really. At least not that I notice.
Okay.
He was one of my last grandparents, or my great grandparents on my mom's side. And he died when I was 14. But he had always had, like, I was his first great grandchild. I was the one he was closest to. I remember the most about him. But he never, like, because I got into this stuff when he was still alive. Like, I literally have a tarot card tattooed on me. And he, like, was always just like, okay, Kaylin, like, don't talk to me about that stuff.
Yeah. The only reason I ask is because the reason I asked about him visiting is because the 3 cards that just popped out are really interesting. On the spiritual side over here, where there's hardly any cards, the opportunity card came out, but then over here, it's like miracles and fulfillment. So all of those speak to opening doors.
Shay, do you see Grandpa Lloyd's energy around me a lot?
I used to
Yeah. Okay, so my fiance, she's really in tune with her gifts. She sees she partial medium. She sees the energies of those that are around us. And she just said that she used to see my Grandpa Lloyd around me a lot when we still lived with my parents.
What's funny is he flung the void card at me. Okay. All right. So what's up with you health wise?
A lot. I'm chronically ill. Nobody can figure out why I'm losing weight. A lot. I have a lot of health issues.
Okay. Well, okay. So what's funny is he's worried about it, but not at the same time. And that's weird. Because the reason behind it is not. I just need like 1 or 2. I don't need 15. He understands a lot more than he ever did in life. Okay. Okay. You are extremely talented. So here's the thing. I now see why the opportunity, the miracle. Okay. Okay. I gotcha. Did he used to like preach?
He did.
Like very long-winded sermons?
Yep.
Because that's what all this is. All of this, like, I wish I could tilt my computer down to show you, but it's like so many fucking cards. And then finally I was like, okay, like I'm not understanding. It's like this huge long story to come all the way back around to the end that really could have just been said right up front. But okay.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Okay, I get it. I'm like, okay, I get it. So remember how it said that there was an opportunity card, a miracle card, and a fulfillment, and the health issues and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So the last card that I pulled just now was the only thing that holds you back is you. You're extremely connected. You're extremely talented. You have some amazing gifts. And part of the reason, and this is not the whole reason you have the health problems, but part of the reason that they can't figure out anything, and part of the reason why there are so many, is because these things are kind of overwhelming you. They're being kept inside and they're overwhelming your physical body because you're soul contracted this time around. I'm not sure what happened, but you ended up in a body you didn't expect. So it's almost not strong enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's why it's getting overwhelmed. You exhausted all the time?
Yeah, I have chronic fatigue.
So the opportunity, the miracles, and the fulfillment there. He's trying to move things out of the way. So, okay, this is only what I'm just going to, he's trying to move things out of the way so you can move forward.
Yeah.
But in moving these things out of the way, whatever this is, the reason he flung the void card at me, I'm still trying to figure out because it's important, but he doesn't want to mention a lot about it. Whereas everything else is like overwhelming with all the shit. But that one's on top and it's important. So, okay. So it's like whatever is. Okay. All right. So I'll try to explain this the best way I can with what I'm seeing. So it's like, here's you. And like if you were in air, like floating in air.
Mm-hmm.
And up here you have all this light and all these things attached to you. Down here, there are these black tendrils that are attached to you like that, and they hold you in place. They hold you down instead of allowing you to pull the light up, to go up that way. It's the only way. What's funny is it's not that they're, I appreciate his storytelling abilities. I really do. But I'm kind of like, I need the point of all this. Like, I need the point.
Yeah.
It's like all these things are holding you down. They're holding you back. And it's like they're keeping things. They're keeping things damaged. Okay. What'd he do with his mouth all the time? Like, I keep fucking with my lips.
With his mouth a lot. Like, he would just like when he was talking.
Okay, yeah, because I'm doing that, and I do it normally, but not like this. It's like I can't stop doing it, and I'm like, okay, stop. Like,
he like,
I just did my lipstick, man. Stop.
Yeah, no, he definitely would like, he just like mess with his mouth, either go like this a lot, or he'd sit there and like,
yeah, I'm chewing on my lip, like
thinking. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm like, I know I do this as a habit, but not like this, not to this extent. Okay. So it's frustrating because it's like, it's one of those things where he knows and he can be straightforward and honest, but he can't.
Yeah.
Because it's something you have to learn and figure out. So it's, I see why, excuse me, he's just giving me roundabout bits and pieces. So the surrender card is also right there. I don't feel like he's saying you need to surrender to your gifts because you're afraid of them, because I don't think that at all. There is something with this void card. In this deck in particular, it's kind of the lower world, the blackness, the nothing. And when I look at that card with all this other stuff, it does fill me with a little bit of fear. So is it that you're afraid to delve into that aspect of things?
Not really. I've been actually really like trying to work on my spiritual side and learning and doing a lot of shadow work and going into the dark stuff. So
okay. There's something there pretty deep seated that he's not ready to talk about yet.
So one thing we found out after he died, I have borderline personality disorder. I've been diagnosed with it. And after he died, the family got together and they actually had said that he was diagnosed with bipolar, but we're thinking he had more of the borderline than bipolar.
Yeah.
And because of that generation, they obviously didn't do great mental health stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of the life that I saw him in, he didn't show his mental health outwardly. And I am very, very, very outspoken about my mental health. I share it on Facebook. That's how I feel like I can help. I'm wondering if he's feeling his own and not, because he was very protective of me and my mom. He didn't want to show us his dark side. He was always happy around me. He was always like, oh, Kaylin, like always. And I feel like part of that, it held a lot of my family back from learning about their own mental health.
Gotcha. Okay. And that could be, that's why I was trying to talk through it. Cause sometimes like, I don't understand because I'm not you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why I'm seeing what I'm seeing. So, okay. So if it made sense to you, that's what matters, because I was just like, I don't know what I'm seeing here. So the black tendrils make a little more sense now after you explain some of that too. And especially with you. Okay. So I would absolutely recommend continuing down the path you're going with the shadow work and so on. I also would recommend researching what the void is a little bit, because that card in particular is an interesting one in this deck. And when I see it, I'm kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
it's one that makes me stop just a little bit. You know what I mean? So I would research just a little bit, because there's a talent, there's a skill that you have that hasn't fully manifested yet. And I don't understand why, and he doesn't understand why. So I don't know if the health stuff has pulled you down to where you can't grasp it fully. I don't know if, and when I say I don't know, it's kind of it's him, because he legitimately doesn't understand why you haven't. Oh, it's like this present with this huge bow on it, and all you have to do is pull, and it just, and he doesn't understand. It's like it's right there. So I would recommend kind of falling down the rabbit hole a little bit on reading just articles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of good videos out there about what the void is and so on. And what's funny is I have it on my list of videos to make for tomorrow. I love that popped up, and that he's trying to get you to understand and see and so on, because it's been a theme this last week with that damn card from that deck in particular. So it's kind of a theme for a lot of people right now. So you are absolutely not alone in starting to learn about this. It's becoming something very important to a lot of the I guess spiritual warriors, for lack of a better term, right now.
I'm good at hyper focusing on things.
That's funny. Well, there you go. There's your homework to hyper focus on. But a lot of the souls that are here right now came up with older souls that had a very specific mission in guiding them and making them who they are, and so on. And some of the younger ones that are here now that are waking up much earlier than a lot of the older ones did, they have a very specific purpose to fulfill. And it's unique paths that are not ones that have labels for them yet. Whereas in the past, you know, a seer is one thing, an oracle is one thing, a light worker is, you know what I mean? Like there are terms, and when you hear them, you know exactly what they are. Now it's this hybrid form of shadow workers that are coming out, that it's to fix the world around them.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of what
I've
you are.
always felt, literally my whole life. It's always, how can I help other people? Thank you for that.
I love your fur baby.
His name is Hercules.
Aw, I had pits growing up, and I love them. They are just the best dogs.
They are.
I grew up in the 80s whenever there were several attacks here and there. The first one that we got her from the pound, but we actually had people that were calling our house and threatening to kill our dog. And it's like, she's never gotten out. She is the sweetest, like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah,
what the fuck?
We have to be really careful with him, because where we live, he could get taken into dog fighting.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, he's a beautiful baby.
He is a sweetie.
Aww.
But literally my whole life, it's been like, okay, you need to help something, and I can never figure out how. Because I was an EMT. Right now I'm currently a 911 dispatcher, and it still doesn't feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose. Yeah.
It's funny you put it that way, because this is the fulfillment card. Okay.
Did I need love? Is that why you're right here?
Oh, apparently so. I love it. So he's there all the time and trying to help guide you on this. It's just, I'm glad that you understood when I was like, I don't understand why it's this big story when you could have just said that last sentence and it been like what I needed to say. So I'm glad you understand that energy with him, because I think he's been trying to impart messages to you for a while. And
It's long-winded. Sometimes they're hard to find.
yeah. So I'm glad you understand that, because that's how these messages are coming. And what's funny is I feel like he's about halfway through the story to you right now, because there's not a lot of frustration here or anything like that. So he's getting his messages across somehow, whether they're dreams, whatever it is, he's getting the messages to you. It's just taking him, I don't know, it's just taking forever to get to the dirt, the meat and potatoes of it.
Yeah.
So, and once I started talking about the void, it was kind of like, thank you, that's it. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know why you're telling me to quit being long-winded, but
Yep.
okay.
He was very long-winded, but hated other people who were long-winded.
I'm like, I'm just saying what you're showing me.
Yeah.
So yeah, the shortcut to this for you is to kind of research what the void is a little bit. I find it interesting, the job that you're in. I find it very interesting. Okay. Because you're in a position to truly help people physically, which is overwhelmingly on this side over here. But the opportunity is still here on this side. So it's a way of melding those two together.
Yeah, and I actually just started volunteering for Moscow, which is our sexual assault community. And I'm going to be one of the ones that goes out and talks publicly about my story to groups, go to schools. And then I also am one that will be a hospital advocate. So go to the hospitals right after and sit with them while they get like all the tests done, all that stuff. I just sit with them and support them through it.
That's amazing.
I feel like
That's
it'll
amazing.
be really, one, it's healing for me. And two, I feel like it's more of what I needed to do rather than just sitting on the phone on the other side. I'm physically there.
Yeah. I think that makes more sense now, because I didn't understand why he was saying the void is important for you to learn about.
Yeah.
It's going to help you tremendously in helping some of these people, and in helping. Some of it is yourself, but what's funny is, in whatever this path is you're fixing to embark on after this, because this is like a stepping stone. So whatever this path is you're fixing to embark on completely has a lot to do with the void and with the dark. So, and what's interesting now as I'm working through all of this, looking at stuff, like the sorcerer card is over here on the physical side, the journey is over here on the spiritual side. There's a fuck ton of 4s and 2s in this too.
I see those all the time.
Okay. I was gonna say, when I say a fuck ton, like every card that has a number on it has a 4 or 2 or 44 or 48, like things like that.
444 is something I see every night, whether I'm just chilling at work and I'll look up and it's 4 a.m. and I'm like, hi, hello, again.
Yeah, I would say that's him. Because yeah, every single card has a 4 or a 2 on it. So he's really funny. He's really funny, and that was very long-winded. And then once the story was over, he's like, okay, I'm done.
Oh.
Like, bye. Okay. So you have homework.
Yep, I will do that.
And like I said, it's funny that card has been popping up, and a lot of people this week have also been like, a lamp post for me, I guess, not quite a sign, but like a lamp post. Because yeah, there's a lot of reasons. So you're also a sign for me today. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I may be a little hard-headed, and sometimes the universe pokes me repeatedly, and before I'm like, okay.
Me too. I'm very stubborn.
Okay, you have homework, girly. But what's funny is, and I feel like I have to tell you again, he's right there. Okay, so it's like I see him right here, and as you're on a phone or a tablet or whatever it is, it's like he reaches over and goes like that.
Dude, that shit happens all the fucking time on my phone. My phone glitches so bad, it just will like bruh, stop.
Yeah, that's what was funny. Like, because I was gonna say, fall down the rabbit hole with it, and when things appear that you're like, that's weird, but I need to learn about that and do it. But it's like I see this fucking hand come over and like do that on your phone. So okay, well, that makes sense then. Because I was like, okay, let me just say that. So okay, well, that's him trying to get you where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, it typically lands on something that I'm like, oh shit, I was meaning to come back to this.
Well, there you go. You have your own helper there. Yeah, what's funny is too, he is mainly around you, like 99% around you all the time. Not that he doesn't care about other people, but he sees your path and he sees how important it is. And so he is kind of assigned himself as your main spirit guide right now until you get where you're going, and then he can go. So I find that very sweet.
It is.
Even if he fucks with your phone.
Even if he fucks with my phone. He's usually when I'm trying to do something important and he sidetracks my ADHD. Like I'm trying to do something in that moment and he's like, nah, we're doing this.
Yeah. No, he's very interesting with that. Like, I'm going to be long-winded. I'm going to tell you this huge story, and then when I'm done, I'm done.
Yep. Very much him. Very much him.
I do really love his energy though. I mean, it's just warm. It's just warm.
He feels like a chocolate chip cookie straight out of the oven.
It's funny you say that. That's the only thing I've eaten today.
Really?
Yeah. Literally right before I sat down. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a very just warm, like, it's supportive, it's loving, it's all of that stuff, but it's just
comforting.
Which also lets me know that you do operate more in the shadow and the void than you realize, because that's very cold energy. And in delving down that aspect and learning about it more, it is a very coldness. So I see all the protection here, and it's funny, like as I'm looking at these, the sorcerer on one side and the journey on the other, like they're facing each other like very protective watchers. So don't be afraid going forward.
I'm typically not with the darker stuff, in all honesty. I find it very, not intriguing, but very like interesting. I like learning about the darker things because I'm very one that you have to have light and dark or else it doesn't work. Yeah.
Well, that makes me proud of you for that, because most people don't understand that. And they're like, oh, I can't work with the dark side. So, and I'm like, then you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to grow, because you can't have light without dark. You can't have dark without light. Like if one doesn't exist, the other one doesn't exist. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So
Well, I had a lot of dark stuff in my life, and I had the option to let it stay dark or let the light back in, and that's what I did. I mean, I've been in therapy for 8 years, once a week for 8 years. So I work on my dark a lot because what I found is leveling my dark levels my light too.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I feel like nobody tells you that they're proud of you for that. So I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
He's proud of you for that, but you probably already knew that. So, well, he's kind of done with me.
Yeah, bye.
Pretty much. I was trying to be like, okay, what else? Like, what else? Nope, that's it.
Yep.
I'm out. I'm like, okay. And now I want a cup of coffee. Okay, all right.
He loved coffee. That was his drink.
I don't. So I'm like, okay. That's really funny. It's like, I want to get a cup of coffee and go sit on the balcony and just sit there and watch the birds.
That's what he did for the last few years of his life. He'd sit on his balcony and watch the birds. Like he had a whole list of birds and he'd just watch them from his porch, drinking his cup of coffee.
Well, okay, then that's what I'm going to go do, I guess, because I really want to now.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I get for saying, and he's done with me. So, okay.
Yep.
I do want to just reach to the camera and just love on your fur baby, though. Like, you don't even know. I have little tiny dogs and I love them, but man, sometimes I miss the big dogs, you know, like.
I grew up with big dogs. They're my favorite.
Same. Yeah. Yep. I did too. And the littles I have now are the first littles I've ever had. And it's so different. It's so much different. Like, I just want to squeeze them till their eyes pop. It's they're just so fucking cute. I'm just like, I just want to squeeze you. So yeah. Well, girly, I'll let you go. Enjoy your football game.
Thank you.
And
then I had a question. So I was
yeah.
supposed to have a past life reading a few weeks ago. And it
Okay.
was supposed to be rescheduled, but it never was.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Did you have a full or a partial?
A full.
Okay. Well, we can do that right now.
Oh, that works for me.
I was gonna say, unless you need a football game, but
I'm chilling.
because yeah, I've had some health issues lately, so I've had to
Yeah, I
reschedule
follow you
a
on
lot.
TikTok and your assistant let me know. So
Yeah, and with TikTok, what sucks is especially when you have live scheduled, if you cancel them, then they can shut your account down. And so like last Sunday, I actually was in Oklahoma City and I ended up taking a boxy truck ride to the hospital there, and my blood pressure shot up to like 220 something over 170. And so they had a stroke team waiting on me, and like it was bad. And I still had to be on live that night. And it about killed me. So
trust me, I get health issues.
yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. So
I still have to go into work even with mine. I got sent home last week for really low blood pressure. Actually, I wasn't able to stay conscious.
oh wow.
Yeah, but I don't work with people that are, because I'm a certified EMT. I know what it looks like. They don't. So they let it continually get worse throughout the night. And by the time that they actually were like, okay, we're going to have someone drive you home, I was super confused, didn't know what was going on. I don't remember most of that night. Like, it was bad.
Oh my. Yeah, the medicine they put me on has been crashing mine, and I've had to be really careful with it and monitor it. Like, I haven't even taken my stuff today just because it's low. It's like the bottom one is only like 62 or 63. And I'm like, yeah, I actually want to like do things today.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna not take my lisinopril today, or well, not right now, but because
I've been put on so many medications. I get really bad side effects from medications too, so they don't work for me. And I'm like, nah, I'm just not.
Yeah,
I would deal with it without medication.
that I understand on a very deep level. I am super, super sensitive to it. That's why I have to tell. And I've had migraines for a long time and things like that. And it just is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, so I've gotten to the point now when I go in, if I have a migraine or any kind of pain issue, that is one thing I hate too. I don't go to the doctor very much, but whenever I do, it's bad. If I'm there, it's bad.
Yep, that's how I am. If I'm there, I'm really hurting.
And then they don't understand why I'm not in the floor or whatever, and treat me like I'm just there for pain medicine. And I'm like, I'm a dick on pain medicine. Like, I don't want it unless I'm dying. Yeah. And I have bad reactions to morphine. So I have to, if whoever's taking me or whatever, I have to tell them, like, do not let them give me morphine, like, please. So.
Yep. I have a full list in my phone, and all my family members, if they take me, they know no morphine. I really don't like narcotics, but if I'm at that point, I'd like tell them literally only Dilaudid. Everything else I have a horrible effect on. And then they're like, okay, well, you just want drugs. And I'm like, no, I really don't. I'm just chronically ill, and I know my body well enough that I'm in here.
Yep.
So
yeah. I don't like how it's not that I'm an asshole. I get very short, and I'm just cranky, and I don't like being that way. I'm like, I'd rather just fucking hurt or take Tylenol.
Yep.
Deal with that.
Like, I can manage my pain better without the meds and not be an asshole to everybody.
Yep.
Or passive aggressive to everybody.
Yeah. Yep. Yep, that's exactly right. Ooh, okay, two. Okay, shit. Now look. There we go. Forever there. So let me open this stuff on my phone here. Because what I do on this is well, shit.
She's not going to give you any of her cookies. She's not going to give you her cookies.
But come on, cookies are good. That's funny. I want cookies though.
Yeah. I want a chocolate chip cookie now.
I know. I was like, that's really funny you say that, because that's exactly the only thing I've eaten today. So I'm trying to open your appointment so I can. There we go. Yeah. Cool. So it's already being recorded. So I'll take pictures of this and then send them to you.
All right.
And that way, when you go back through it, you'll have them to kind of look at. Oh, you and the surrender card. Okay.
Seems to be a theme.
Well, it's funny because you just had it with his.
Shay, are my tarots still downstairs?
So how long have you been reading tarot cards?
Right about a year.
Oh, okay. I was just curious, since you said you had one tattooed on you. So
I have the temperance card tattooed on my.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's because I was born in December, so one with my card anyways, but having the moderation and having it on both sides and self-control has been a really big theme in my life. So it fit very well for me.
I'm literally just trying to get this to open so I can send you this fucking picture, and it's making me really mad. I'm like, I don't understand. Usually all I have to do is tap the button. Okay. All right. well, I'll send them to you in a minute then. So and we have 2s and 4s again. Okay. So in this one, you have a lot of duality. Okay. So in this one, you're born a man. I see why you kind of are plagued with health issues this time around. This one's in the early 1300s. I would say probably 1310, 1312. I also see, okay. I see a lot of why you are what you are right now. Okay. Because in this one, you're born a man, very big, very strong, very healthy, like literally never got sick. Even with all kinds of stuff going on around you, never got sick. Very action oriented, very doing everything all the time.
Sounds like my dad, honestly.
Funny. You kind of became a warrior without becoming a warrior. So that it's interesting because it's not that you weren't trained to do this, didn't want to do it, anything like that, but it's like you kept getting pulled into it. And even in fighting, you still never got hurt. It's like you were so divinely protected here. Okay. The reason this one affects you really bad right now is because that's how you feel you should be right now. It's like you feel like I should be like this, but yet I'm like this.
Yep. I mean,
Because
before I got sick, that's exactly what I was doing. I was strong, super athletic. I played multiple sports. I never got sick before I developed POTS. And taking that away, that took like a huge part of who I was away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a struggle now because I'm like, fuck, I just want to be back to the way I was. I love being athletic.
Yeah, this right here was, I would say, probably one of your favorite lives, just because you felt like you had complete freedom here. There's no kids, there's no marriage or anything like that, but that was okay. You chose to not have those things. But you traveled, you walked all over the place, did whatever you wanted to do. And you were amazingly lucky in this life too, in that anything you needed kind of fell in your lap.
That's pretty cool.
So you really, in this life here, manifested everything you wanted. And I see why the surrender card's at the end. And because I was like, that's weird that it's popped up again after I just drew it with that other reading. Yeah. So if you just kind of surrender to the path that you're on, just like you did in this life, you're going to be able to manifest everything you want, just like you did here. But you've got it's like a little cork that's in there that's holding you back. And all you have to do is, oh, man, it's funny. You literally, like he was showing me with the bow, just opening it. Okay. It would be nice to know what that is. So you can.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like, damn, really wish I knew what that was.
Mm-hmm. I mean, with the stuff we were talking about in that first reading, though, it's just, there's some little tiny bit of knowledge that you have to come across. It's not for me to tell you. And apparently he's doing everything he can to cheat and show, and help you find it. So that's why I was like, don't get frustrated. But like with this one here, one of the things that you did not accomplish in this life, the celestial gatekeeper is upside down. So it tells me that you had a specific role to play for a lot of other people that you did not. And I have a feeling that's why in this life, you're being pushed to work with and to help so many other people. So it's probably why you got knocked down physically a little bit, because if you hadn't gotten knocked down physically, you probably would have been right back with this. You know, you would have stayed in that physical aspect of everything with yourself. So I kind of see why. I see why. Because you have to fulfill that celestial gatekeeper, pushing other people on their path where they need to go. And I said pushing for, and it's funny because it's literally when I said pushing, it's like you shoving your soul, shoving someone. So it's going to be an interesting path, because that tells me it's going to be working with people that are fighting their path tooth and nail.
I mean, I'm very blunt already. And a lot of people that come across me, I'm very open and very blunt about everything. And they're like, well, I didn't need to know that, but now I do. So thank you. And I'm like, sorry about it. Here you go.
Yeah. So I find that very, very interesting. But like I said, hopefully we'll figure out what that quirk is with this.
Yeah.
And it may be tied into what he's trying to show you as well.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if in falling down that homework rabbit hole, you have a lot of things that smack you, and then suddenly it's like, oh shit, okay, here's all the gifts. So hold on to your big kid pants. Thank you, sir. Okay. You have a very masculine soul.
Yeah. My chart is almost all masculine.
Yeah. This one's a masculine as well. So I was like, okay.
It's funny, even in this life, I still identify as a girl, but I present very masculine outwardly within my energy and how I dress. And I'm still very masculine.
Well, this one's a man as well. So, and more 4s and 2s. Okay. It's funny too, because 2 is balance. It's not perfect balance, but it's balance. The number 2 specifically represents the male and the female.
Yeah.
Okay. This one is not that long ago. This is right around 1800, like 1800, 1801. I'm trying to get a name. Like I'm trying to poke and get a name, because this is in Massachusetts.
I can research that too. That's time that I can still research and
I
find.
know, that's why I'm trying to get a name. Like every now and then I can get a name, and I've had people find themselves. So okay, I'm gonna start talking through it. Maybe I can get it, because it's something. It's like I almost got one and then it got yanked back. And so I'm like, no, like just give it to me. Just give it to me. So yeah, this is Massachusetts. I'm trying to get where, like pinpointed where. Okay, now I got to look up a map, because I can tell you. What's funny is whenever I get something pinpointed like this, where I can tell somebody, there's a reason for that. Okay.
I'm just gonna lay down back there, Leo.
Okay. So I'm probably going to murder this name when I say it. Worcester, Worcester.
WOR.
Cester. It's a bigger city now.
Oh, that's beautiful. The first picture that showed up was like a steeple, and I absolutely love old buildings. It's one of my favorite things.
That's funny. Like, because whenever I was like, okay, this is Massachusetts, and then I was like, maybe I can pinpoint where. And whenever I get something like that that's more recent, and it's like it's kind of like when you when you pull up Google Maps and you see like the state, and then you can zoom into wherever, like that's exactly it, just like zoop, like that. So I was like, okay, well, there's something important there apparently for you. I keep getting Scott, but I can't tell if it's first or last name, so it's kind of irritating me. Okay. Back to this. This might help. So I gotta get you back up in front of me there. So with this one, this is a life that really affected you deeply because when you were younger, you were not a nice person. This is one where you're born to a family that has a little bit of money and a lot of power. And so you were not a nice kid. You were not a nice teenager. And something shifts in you. Something happens when you turn about 21 and you end up okay. You actually fall in love with a woman, not a woman that you're supposed to marry, but you fall in love with a woman, and you finally, it's like you have to basically put your foot down and tell your father that you're marrying her. And it takes a bit for your father to accept it. And then she dies. And that changed who you were, a deep, it changed you. Really, really changed you. It was the first thing in this life that you ever wanted and I know that sounds weird to say, but it's like everything else you had, if you just had a whim that you wanted something, you had it. You just went and took it. This was something you had to work for, and something that truly touched you in your soul really, really deeply. And she loved you just as much in return. And she got very, very sick, and just within a couple of days was gone, and it just devastated you.
What about Carpenter? Scott Carpenter.
I don't know. Her name is Nancy. And her last name starts with an A. It's a very interesting, long, it's Polish. And it's funny, like I can see her smiling in my head, and it's like giving me goosebumps every time I see it. But in losing her, it shoved you into a spiritual awakening. It shoved you into being a different person. And you spent the rest of your life atoning for how you felt you were when you were younger. I find it interesting too that you don't have kids or get married in this life either. You kind of have a solitary soul. But this is okay. This one's affecting you pretty deeply right now, because it's the path you have to walk going forward is very similar to the path in this one, even though getting to the path is different. You use the rest of your life here to help other people. You use your family's money, you use your family's name to help other people. And what's funny is your father really hated you for it at first, and then Oh my God. All right, hold on.
Did you say even if I'm annoying sometimes? It's weird, Cheyenne.
Honesty is best policy.
Wow. Okay. I thought I had found you, but this is going to drive me up the fucking wall. Because I heard the name Carnegie and I was like, wait, what? And there is a Thomas Scott that worked with the Carnegies, but what's funny is that person got married and had kids. You did not get married and have kids.
There is a guy that was in Worcester who I'm trying to see if he ever married anybody. He was a black man in Worcester who became very prevalent within the community and helped a lot of people, but I don't know if he got married or not. And his last name is Scott. His name is Charles Scott. Oh yeah, just especially his grandsons.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's not for me to find out. But I'm like obsessed with finding out. It's just very, very weird. It's very weird. Okay. It's very, very weird. Okay. It's just weird because it's like I saw all these certain things, but there's one thing that doesn't fit, and that's the marriage and the kids. It doesn't fit with because when I heard that other name, I was like, okay, that's a pretty famous name. Like I should be able to find that shit very easily because that wasn't your name, but it was very closely tied with that. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck? So
could have been a best friend or something.
I'm probably going to end up doing some research on my own because I'm like, now I'm kind of obsessed with that because what's funny, when I found Thomas Scott, it hit me in the gut. And so I was like, okay, but he got married and had kids. So then I'm like, wait, that's weird. Okay. Because that's not what I'm seeing here. So fine. Okay. Okay. But this life made a massive amount of difference. And for me to be able to be like, here's where it is. This is the name. You know what I mean? There's some reason that it popped up for me to be able to tell you.
Well, history is my thing. So
well, there's your other homework.
Pretty good at figuring stuff out.
Yeah. There you go.
Like we're planning our honeymoon to go to Philadelphia to do all the history stuff. So
that's awesome as shit. That's awesome. Okay, well, you have homework on that one, apparently. because whatever this is that he did in this life, it's kind of mirroring slightly what you're going to be doing here. So homework. You have all the homework.
All the homework.
You didn't know I was giving you homework.
That's fine. I'm good with it.
Oh, a woman. Okay. Wow, all the threes. Okay. This one is all threes. Three is perfect balance. It's also the magic card, the wind card, the inner peace card, the sage. This one's really interesting.
Hey, baby girl, you can go get her at any time.
Apparently my stomach is telling me that a cookie was not the best thing for food today.
It's okay. I've only had a Sprite today, so.
Well, remember how we were talking about that bow and that cork?
Yeah.
This is going to be one that is going to help you pull the ribbon. This one is a very long time ago. This one is a very long time ago, and this one is, you literally were kind of magic incarnate here. So in being born a woman, you're the oldest daughter of the oldest daughter of the oldest daughter of the oldest daughter.
That's how I am now.
Really? That's interesting. Okay. Because in this one, you're born to a family that's extremely secretive. That's extremely, they're Celtic. They're up very, very northern area of Ireland. Extremely powerfully connected women. Revered and terrified at this, you know, people were terrified of them at the same time.
It's interesting. I think Celtic. I have, my family's really into genealogy on both sides. I have two people that are, and I have traces back to Northern Ireland, like very early. We've traced that far back.
This one I'm trying to get year-wise pinpointed, but the other part is more important. So I'm like, okay, I'll say all of that and then we'll go that way. But from a very, very young age in this life, you're taught to literally embody magic, to embody all of these things. From the time you have your eyes open, you're being taught, because the role that you're in is extremely important. Extremely important. Like things are passed down from that position to that position to that position. In this life in particular, your soul is allowed to be exactly who it needed to be, who it is deep down, and you find inner peace in this life. And in this one, you don't get married, but you do have a daughter. You have the oldest daughter of the oldest daughter. I would absolutely, I would research what a sage is. That's kind of your ribbon. I love that your cat matches your hair.
He does.
I love that he's just chilling out, like, hold me.
He's actually sick right now. Usually he's not like this.
Oh.
He's just got an upper respiratory infection, so he's being super lovey. In all reality, he's an asshole who typically bites everybody. So.
Oh. Well, take it while you can get it. Yeah. The sage is what's going to help you pull that ribbon on that box and open that gift up.
Like a normal sage, like SAG.
Not the plant.
No.
But that role in history. It's kind of a shaman in a way, but slightly different. You held an amazing amount of magic in this life. And you really fought a lot for being treated like an equal, because it wasn't anything to do with, male, female, or, the hierarchy. It was to do with how people looked at you and others like you in that role. I'm going to say this was probably in the 11 or 1200s, because it's pretty far back, maybe a little earlier, but there's something shifted socially around you where people always traveled to come and find your family for help, for herbal remedies, for birth, for everything. They came for everything. But you guys were always treated, even though you were revered and they needed your help, you were still treated like dirt in a way. And so you really, really fought for that to not be a thing. So instead of just being hermited away out there and only coming into town every now and then, or sending someone else into town for you, you were going into town all the time and making your presence known and being a good person and showing them that that you weren't someone to be feared, like things like that. Like you did a lot of PR work. Let's say that you did a lot of PR work to the point that you became extremely respected around the area instead of fear. And you gave a lot of your energy away. You were able to give a lot of your energy away without it affecting you too deeply. So you made a humongous mark in the people's lives and in the history around you with this life.
Hell yeah.
And you lived a very long time in this life. You did in almost every one of your other lives. That's what's interesting too. And it's all just dying of natural causes, nothing.
No trauma.
Nope. And in this one, you actually have the tools and what you need to naturally help yourself with the aches and pains and things like that. So I don't know if you've looked into herbalism a lot or at all. Okay. That is a talent your soul holds.
I said, fucking normal medicine. It's not working. Might as well go find something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. My dogs are probably fixing to bark. I think that DoorDash is here. Yeah. Let me grab that real quick. We're gonna be dicks, you don't get french fries. Serious. Yeah, go tell Kay that lunch is here. I love that when I told them if they're gonna be dicks, they don't get french fries, they kind of stop barking. Like, yeah. And it's 113, of course. Lucky number. I appreciate now that your grandpa, your great grandpa was very like, okay, I'm done. And now you have time to do this. Especially since this last one in particular. And I love this card. It's like just really cool.
Yeah.
especially since that one in particular is going to help you pull that ribbon.
Yeah.
So do you have to work tonight or are you off?
Yeah, I do have to work tonight.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, because I know you're fixing to really hardcore fall down the
But
rabbit
I
hole.
work at midnight, so I go in at midnight, which means I still got a lot of time.
Yeah.
Well, you have all kinds of interesting shit to
Definitely.
fall down the rabbit hole with.
Hey, baby, can you grab me a pin?
I have no idea where one is.
My fanny pack.
And hopefully I'll be able to send you these pictures. I will send them to you. Let's say that, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
They're getting sent, whether they like it or not. So yeah. And I know this may not get uploaded, like the link may not get sent to you till tomorrow, but yeah, it'll get sent.
Okay.
April does all that for me. So, and there's a whole bunch that I did yesterday too, that are all going to get uploaded at the same time. So.
I was writing things down before I forgot.
Oh no, that's okay. I was like, do you need me to repeat anything? I was waiting for you to get done writing. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Lloyd Worcester, MA, with the name Scott in the early 1800s, and then a sage.
Mhm.
That's going to be my mission for the next 2 weeks, is trying to figure out who it is.
You're welcome.
Luckily, my aunt has access to Ancestry and has an account, so I can use her
Sweet.
account.
Sweet.
Stop growling.
Oh. It's like, well, I feel better now. And oh.
Bye. Are you going to go away or are you going to lay back down? Bye. That's it. Oh, that was gross.
All right, girly.
Well,
Yeah. That's apparently why nothing had been rescheduled yet, because you needed to hear it after that.
yeah.
I love when it works out.
Yeah.
Okay, let me stop this.